Picture a dawn when the first light slips slowly along a temple's central axis, gilding a tower and making a shadow fall exactly where the ancients intended. Who were the people watching that sunrise and planning for it? Not by accident, but by measurement, memory, and ritual. Our central claim is simple. Khmer sky knowledge didn't merely decorate ritual life. It structured civic time, agricultural decisions, and the built landscape itself.
Listen closely. The layers matter. Astronomy in Khmer contexts was lived knowledge. It told people when to plant, when to gather, and when to mark change. The evidence shows us calendars were practical instruments as much as cosmologies.
Right. And when we say sky knowledge, we mean a simple toolkit. Careful watching of the moon's phases, counting lunar months, noting sunrises and particular stars rising before dawn. That toolkit was turned into a shared rhythm, festivals, work seasons, and the daily movement of a village.
A lot of Southeast Asia used versions of a lunisolar calendar, lunar months for ritual memory, with an occasional intercalary month added so the seasons stay in step. Khmer custodians adapted those systems to local rains and soils, so what's written in a court record and what a farmer follows can both reflect sky knowledge in different registers.
If you're picturing complicated mathematics, stop. Much of this begins with attentive watching. Families and temple custodians observed when certain stars rose before dawn or when the sun returned to a familiar stone point. Those marks became calendars people could read in the landscape.
Wait, let me add something quick. One elder I spoke with used a single bright star as a planting signal, and that memory still shapes her family's calendar. She didn't keep ledgers. She kept a watching eye and taught the children when to move seedlings.
That image sticks with me. An elder pointing at the early sky and folding generations of timing into one gesture. It shows how astronomy lived in bodies and routines, not just in temple blueprints.
And architects and builders translated those seasonal logics into stone.
Great.
We see causeways and sanctuaries oriented along deliberate azimuths, gateways framing sunrise on chosen days, and galleries that choreograph light and shadow, architecture as a sky calculator. When a temple frames a solstitial sunrise, it's doing more than making a spectacle. It's embedding a calendar into the communal space.
But let's be careful. The interpretation requires layered proof, field measurements, persistent local practice, and textual clues. Single alignments can be chance, the result of later renovations, or symbolic without calendrical intent. We owe listeners that nuance.
Oh, interesting. I want to honor that caution and still point to concrete examples that help explain how researchers build a case. For example, here,
researchers have also examined possible alignments at Preah Khan and Bakong. When those architectural claims are paired with inscriptions or consistent local practice, inscriptions like the Stok Kok Tom and temple records that mention festival timing, the case for intentional design becomes stronger.
The cultural significance is important. A temple aligned with seasonal light turns into a public calendar. You don't need maps or written months if the community knows that on the morning the light falls there, it's time to begin a certain ritual or field task. That's how architecture becomes instruction.
And those rhythms mattered practically. Rice agriculture depends on knowing dry and wet windows. If a star's first pre-dawn appearance cues a farmer to move seedlings, that knowledge is literally tied to harvest success and survival across seasons.
I remember walking with a woman near Siem Reap who said, "We watch the small star before dawn. When it appears, we move the seedlings." She mimed the practiced motion, short, exact, and in that gesture was an entire season's labor. That's the human anchor for these technical claims.
Stories like that are vital evidence in their own right. Ethnography shows us how observational practice is transmitted, and when we pair that with measurements, odolometry of axes, horizon surveys, and even old chronicle notes, we get a fuller picture.
Methods vary. Researchers use sighting sticks and horizon markers in the field. GPS and GIS to record azimuths, and software to reconstruct ancient skies. But technology is a tool, not an answer. Community knowledge and inscriptional references remain essential to interpretation.
Let's talk about evidence limits for a moment. Some alignments are convincing when multiple lines line up. Architecture, independent inscriptions, and living memory. Other cases are intriguing but ambiguous. We should tell both stories, the one that delights the imagination and the one the data strictly supports.
From a cultural standpoint, the stakes are also ethical. Many sites are still active. Asking questions, recording stories, or testing theories must be done with consent and respect. The research tells us community custodians often hold the clearest memory of timing and practice.
If you're listening and planning a visit, here's a small, safe exercise. Notice the entrance orientation. Watch the light at different times, and ask a local custodian whether particular days are special. Small observations can reveal big patterns and open doors to conversation.
Right, and remember to ask first before photographing ceremonies, and to credit local guides and custodians when you share observations. Those practices help preserve living heritage while letting research proceed ethically.
Before we finish, a quick example of continuity. In some villages, the lunar calendar still determines when elders visit fields to bless seedlings, even if national calendars govern official holidays. That coexistence shows how sky knowledge adapts rather than disappears.
That's the deeper story. Whether carved in stone, spoken at a hearth, or taught by an elder in the field, celestial knowledge helped organize time, anchor memory, and link people to landscape. The pattern shows us how knowledge is practical, social, and enduring.
If this episode sparked a question about a site you visited, a piece of star lore in your family, or an alignment you think you found, we'd love to see it. Share your observations on our social channels, tag us, and check my YouTube channel for visual examples of the alignments we've discussed.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Ancient Echoes. We hope these stories helped you see Cambodian history and culture in a deeper, more human way.
The echoes of the past live on in people's voices, memories, and everyday lives. Thank you for listening and for making space for these stories. Let's unlock the echoes of history together.
Until next time, thank you for listening to Ancient Echoes.
In the quiet of night, I whispered my plea, holding her close, hoping for her decree. I called upon spirits, asked them to guide, to take her heart and lead her by my side. So I drew her near, traced her brow so fair, on my sight this way. Sacred power, sway, mighty spirit awaken. By the master's right, let her heart be gently taken. Let her follow me now by vow and by sign. I hear these words, oh teacher, witness this plea. Oh, my sacred power, sway. Oh, oh, oh.